are and what we do as an institution. But there's some more urgent questions about how we got to the need for this forum and where did we go from here. These questions raised include, what was the evaluation process for Gene Nickel? Many phases of that, or facets of that. What are the key performance criteria for the president of William & Mary? How are they evaluated? And what are the ideological implications of these recent events? I'm sure we'll have ample opportunity to explore these and other questions in a few minutes.
Graduate of college, and I'm a rector.
Yes, I'm Jeff McWaters, and by the way, we'll have to be leaving early, so apologize in advance.
I'm Bobby Ucroft, and I'm a class of 1961.
I'm John Charles Thomas, a lawyer from Richmond, Virginia, who loves the college.
Suzanne Matthews, class of 1971. I joined the board in 2002, and I'm serving my third year as secretary. Bonnie's older than I am. I'm an in-post, and I'm a graduate of the law school in 1974. I have two children who are recent graduates of college.
I'm Kathy Hornsby, class of 79, and I lived in Williamsburg. This is my second stint in Williamsburg. Lived here since 1990.
I'm Phil Burgett. I'm from Alexandria. Thank you all.
Center section.
Thank you for coming. I am Firoz Yegan, a faculty member, Sociology and Women's Studies. Is it true that in the evaluation of President Nickel's job performance that faculty and students' opinions counted for 2 out of 11 of the criteria used to determine his effectiveness?
No. We've been confused all day about where that comes from. There's not a 11-point criteria that we're aware of that would be true about, and so there's no 2 of 11 of anything. I've heard that question raised in the context of the on-campus interview stakeholder process. That process was in no way enumerated. It covered a range of topical areas from vision to relationships with student faculty to management style to management issues to donors to fundraising to relations with local community. But there were not on anything I am aware of an 11-point criteria to which faculty and student views were limited to 2 points of.
That's the first I've heard of that today. I mean, I heard it in the earlier session. No idea what
There are 2 questions over on the side here, or one on the right. And please introduce yourself as a speaker.
Hi, I'm Maureen Fitzgerald. I'm in American Studies and Religious Studies. I think with blank, did you have any sense that your decision would create as much turmoil, shock, and frustration and deeply felt trauma as it has? And if you did, why did you go ahead with the decision? If you didn't, how did you not know?
Well, I think the short answer is that we did. And it probably was the single greatest impediment or barrier to our decision, the thing that the board members, and I'll let them speak for themselves, struggled the most intensely with. While I doubt that I'll be in a position to persuade you, we went ahead because we thought that the concerns we had were sufficiently fundamental. We also went ahead because we thought that we had made a very concerted effort to try to work together with the president to remedy things over the course of about a 9-month period, and that process had proved unsuccessful. So we had difficulty concluding that we would believe going forward for another 3 or so year term was likely to remedy the concerns that we had. It's difficult to prove the substance of those points, but I can tell you that given how much pain it would cause to us, those points had to be more weighty than they might otherwise have been, and we had to be even more convinced. But I believe it was misleading. It was what I understood to be accurate.
I want to answer this question too. I'm John Charles Thomas. I'm a former justice of the Supreme Court of Virginia. I'm one of the outside directors, you might say. I was there. We sat around the table. Now, the reason we didn't have to take a vote was the contract has a term. It expires at a certain date. So we don't have to do anything for it to run out. We would have to do something to give a new contract. You've seen this before in the academy. The consensus was that we were not going to give another contract. And when that consensus was reached, everybody in the room said, okay, let's see what we can do to make this work smoothly for everybody. Then we started talking about a transition package that would be honorable for everybody. The person who wrote that nasty letter said at the time, this is good, this is decent, this is a proper thing to do. I will support this, I will ask them to take this. There was no lack of integrity here.
Motion's restored.